In this tutorial, I'd like to give you some ideas on how you can use your Smart Notebook software for teaching elements of fractions. To begin with, we'll get a new page, go to the gallery and type in fractions. Now notice when you type in fractions, there should be 48 images, 3 interactive and multimedia, and 7 notebook files and pages. I'm going to show you how one of the notebook files pages works. If I drag it across, it's similar to wallpaper. So this one I'm looking at fifths. Then if you go to your pictures and you can drag across different fractions and they fit nicely within the background, and you can say what part of the fraction is shaded and so forth. From your gallery in the interactive and multimedia, you also have this one here, which I've used in conjunction with my camera tool. On my next page, here it is. Now this is a flash file that comes with your notebook software. If I click enter, you can see it's like a chart and you can view, so I might choose this one for example. And then you can select your drop down menu and you can show what it is for a quarter and a half. So you have the image of the fraction numerically, the decimal and the percentage. You can use your camera tool at the top here to screen capture all of these images to create further interactive ideas. Here's one for example. I've captured the fraction, the decimal and the percentage and created my fractions underneath. The task here is for students to drag up and match the correct fractions. You can notice that my fractions, I have put them in different locations. For example, here this is at the top, the bottom and the middle. So you're constantly giving the students a visual, an understanding of the fractions. It doesn't really matter where it is located. It still is a part of a whole. Using that same resource, I've got this one here. I use my table tool at the top here. So I selected a 4x4 table, and with this one students are asked to drag across a fraction piece and match it up with a fraction, the decimal and the percentage. With this one there's no automatic feedback, it's actually teacher generated, so the teacher will have to provide feedback for the students. Here is another example. This one I went to the gallery and I typed in category sort, interactive and multimedia, and then you need to select the image and drag it across. You can see here, so students drag up, okay, this is a fraction, a decimal, this is a percentage. You can check and you can solve and you reset, and each time you reset it changes the order of the images down the bottom. Here is another example. I went to the gallery this time and typed in vortex. With this one I'm looking at the properties of a half, whether it's greater than or less than a half. So here we have a third, 66.6%. If a student gets one wrong, it will spit it back out at them. To create this, you just go to edit and drag in the images, which I use my camera tool from the original document, the original interactive file at the start here. Another idea I like to do, if you go to your gallery and type in large grid and drag across the large grid, which I've pre-done here. Now with this one here I'm going to use my line tool and I might create this one into halves. This one here for example into eighths. I have a third one there if needed. So I might say to students, okay, well if I colour in, it's easier to work on the smartboard, this part here, then I have 1/2. What's the equivalent fraction if you're talking about eighths? And the students might select a different pen tool and colour in. And they'll say, okay, well a half is equal to 4/8 and so forth. This is one of my favourite backgrounds because the large grid here is the same as the grid paper in my students' maths books. Another function which is an add-on feature which does not come standard with the notebook software is the shape division tool. For example, if I select a square, I can fill the square, colour. If you right click, select shape division, and you can divide your square or circle into however many segments you like, up to 12. So if I select 10, and then you can actually pull those pieces apart. I'll show you that again for a circle. You don't need to fill it, but just for visually, if I fill it. Select on solid fill. And if I right click, shape division, shows my number of segments, and you can drag it across. Now this shape division is an add-on feature which you need to purchase through your smart wholesaler.